Hello, good afternoon, everybody. It is 2:35 p.m. here in sunny southern Arizona. So I came back on because I am wanting to talk about something. So we just went through 7 weeks technically of the Johnny Depp trial, and Elaine Bredehoft, which is Amber Heard's lawyer, seems to go around getting her 15 minutes of fame on behalf of Amber Heard after her huge loss in this trial. And so I wanted to kind of go over that because she brings up, let's see here. So I'm going to there's one from the New York Post where it says Amber Heard can't pay $10.4 million for Depp judgment. Attorney Elaine Bredehoft blames suppressed evidence, which I'm really curious because I'm actually still trying to find all of the evidence that was presented in the UK trial. But I might be able to get some of that information as I try to search this. So let's see here. So she goes around, she says, well, really what happened here is it's a tale of two trials. Johnny Depp brought a suit in the UK for the same case. Well, it wasn't the same case because Johnny Depp sued the Sun newspaper, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch. And in the US trial, he is suing Amber Heard for defamation. So Elaine she went on the Today, and it looks like a couple other places. So let me. She says the burden of proof was easier for him there. The Sun had to actually prove that it was true, which that's not what they had to do. And there was no jury. It was one judge making this decision. But the court found that Mr. Depp had committed at least 12 acts of domestic violence, including sexual violence against Amber Heard. And then she goes on to say, so what did Depp's team learn from this? Demonize Amber and suppress the evidence. We had an enormous amount of evidence, mountains of evidence, that was suppressed in this case. That was in the UK case. In the UK case, when it came in, Amber won and Mr. Depp lost. I find that very, very interesting. So let's see here. So Bredehoft said Depp's team was successful in quashing important medical records. They were able to suppress the medical records, which were very, very significant because they show a pattern all the way back to 2012 of Amber reporting this to her therapist. For example, she told the program. So I would like to point out that a therapist is not a doctor. And Amber Heard actually admitted on stand that she never sought medical, any medical for any of the instances of abuse that she purported to having gone through. That's very telling, if you ask me. Johnny Depp, she kept saying he wore big chunky fingers. She never knew of a time that Johnny never wore big chunky fingers. And she said that he would punch her so much that she wouldn't even remember. Well, she has shown no evidence of abuse. Basically, the abuse that she is purporting happened could have either A, killed her, or B, would have created such damage that she would have had no choice but to seek medical attention. But none of this ever came forward. So just the thoughts of a therapist. A therapist's job is not to tell you whether or not what she is saying is true or not. That's the thing. So let's see here. She said, we had significant amount of text, including from Mr. Depp's assistant, saying, when I told him he kicked you, he cried. He is so sorry. That didn't come in. Well, I would probably try, if I were Johnny Depp and I was the victim, I'd probably try to say anything to get her to shut the fuck up. So when asked if the Aquaman actress would be able to pay the $10.4 million in damages that the Virginia jury awarded to her Hollywood star ex, Bredehoft replied, "Oh no, absolutely not." So of course this all comes down to money. So it was okay for her to divorce Johnny Depp and try to sabotage him in any way possible, to extort him for homes, for a vehicle, for money, and it was okay for him to pay her. But of course, now that the shoe is on the other foot, of course, oh no, I can't pay that. Okay, so according to sources close to her, the actress was supposed to join her attorney on the morning show Thursday, but pulled out of the interviews after her courtroom loss. So, and again, we now know that on Wednesday, the jury ruled in Depp's favor on all 3 of his defamation claims stemming from Heard's 2018 Washington Post op-ed. The jury declared Heard, 36, acted with actual malice when she penned her now infamous op-ed titled, "I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change." However, the actress's attorney confirmed that Heard would appeal, has excellent grounds for it. Bullshit, she does not. Oh, absolutely, she will appeal, and she has, it's absolutely insane. Of course, we saw this coming because Amber Heard, of course, just wants to move on and have Johnny Depp leave her alone. But here she is, proving exactly why the majority of us do not believe her. So she goes on to say, this is again Elaine Bredehoft. She goes, "We even had tried to get the UK judgment in his case because Depp already had his shot, and that's one of the issues, but also a number of the evidentiary issues. There was so much evidence that did not come in." Well, to be fair, there was evidence that did not come in for both sides, but we will talk about that a little bit deeper here in a little bit. So we're talking about a tale of 2 trials, except for one was not a trial. It was done by a judge. So let me go here because I want to go and I want to share this real quick. So YouTube, we need to see, I want to see Elaine Bredehoft Today Show. So excuse my itching my nose. It is allergy season badly. We have mesquite trees out back, which I swear to God, I am allergic to the state of not Texas. I don't live there anymore, but I'm allergic to the state of Arizona. And it is shedding all of this yellow pollen out of the trees, and it feels like it is all over my body, causing me to feel like I need to take 10 showers a day because it itches so bad. Okay, so I want to go here. So this one is from CBS Mornings. I want to go into this one first. I'm going to pause this real quick, and I'm going to share this with you guys. So it's like we started to get... don't forget to comment, guys. Ask any questions, please. You can ask the hard questions too. I want to see hard questions because I have hard questions for Elaine Bredehoft at this point. I am completely against lying pieces of crap. She's a piece of work. I had felt bad for her in some instances because this had to be a very hard trial. It was very exhausting. And I cannot imagine representing Amber Heard because I probably would have fucking quit and said, "Go represent your goddamn self. Good luck." I feel like I have a pretty strong sense when people are lying. Could be wrong, but pretty strong sense. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. Okay, so we're going to go to share screen again. And we are going to go to... I want to go to here, and we are going to share. Here we go. Yay. Okay. So let me see here if that did what I needed it to do. Sorry, guys. You're going to have to bear with me because I'm literally only working with one screen right now. I cannot wait to get my screen set up properly so that way I can actually see what I am doing. I got to find it. There we go. Okay, so let me see here. I wonder. Okay, I need to see how we can do this. So, no, that's not what I wanted. Thank you. Let me go in here. I'm trying so hard to figure out how to do this. So we're going to exit out of that. And so, okay, I'm going to need to go stop sharing for just a moment, guys. Let me exit the full screen here. Again, this will make it so much easier when I have all of my stuff set up. Let me go here first. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share that again. And then we're going to go, I don't want to know what my children are turning up, just for the record. They will probably drive me nuts. So, okay.
The jury's decision to side with Johnny Depp in his defamation lawsuit is drawing both condemnation and praise. The verdict came after 6 weeks of very dramatic testimony from both sides. She claimed that he abused her while he said she was the abuser. In his reaction, Depp wrote, "The goal of bringing the case was to reveal the truth, and that truth never perishes." Elaine Bredehoft is the attorney for
All right, give me just a moment, guys. I'm going to have
look at the link you texted me.
Hold on. My husband's asking me questions, and I'm live. Yay! Thank you.
Oh,
honey.
hey, yeah. Hi, everybody. This is her husband. Yes, I'm Grant.
You're such a butthead. Why am I looking at my text messages?
Because you need to go to the link you sent me, and that's the video editor. It's on there. It's one of the blue digi things you touch.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't do that right now because I'm going live because I can't figure out how to create just a video that I can.
Because you're live.
Well, he's probably right. I will admit when I am wrong. Okay. So let me go back to this. Okay. So
Amber Heard is with us now, and we should mention we did also reach out to Johnny Depp's team, but they declined to be interviewed this morning. Elaine, thank you. We're so very glad you're here.
Thank you.
We heard Amber's reaction to the verdict yesterday. This seems to be a huge victory for Johnny Depp this morning.
Yeah, a major setback for women, for women inside the courtroom and outside the courtroom.
Because
basically what this said, Amber had an enormous amount of evidence, although a lot of it was suppressed in this case as opposed to the UK. But look at all the women who have no evidence. All these women.
Okay, something I would like to point out is what evidence is being suppressed. Because here's the thing: there are certain things that the Judge Azarate, or I don't know. She was an ex-Marine, amazing woman. But they left out evidence on both sides, or she did not let certain evidence come in. Some of it was due to hearsay. Like Johnny Depp, unfortunately, one of his bodyguards had passed away, and that was not allowed to be used. There was evidence not being able to be used for Johnny Depp that probably could have cleared his name a hell of a lot faster. But I really wonder what evidence that she feels is being suppressed for Amber Heard. Anyway, let's carry on.
Women who suffer from domestic violence and domestic abuse, they don't have evidence. And basically what this jury said is unless you pull out your cell phone and you tape record your spouse beating you, you're out of luck.
But Elaine, I think
so that's complete bullshit. So there are many women that are able to get their side heard without ever having to have recorded a thing. For instance, if you were to come up with, I don't know, bruises on your face, we could look, you know what? Give me a moment. We are going to do this real quick. Let's go to what does domestic violence look like physically. And be prepared. There may be some some graphic images here, but we're going to go to here first. It says, what are the signs of domestic violence from Emblem Wealth? So bruises on the arms, black eye, sprained wrists, bruised lips, and red or blue marks on the neck are some obvious signs of physical abuse. The victims of domestic abuse also try to cover these abuse signs with clothing. For example, you may see them tying a scarf around their neck, or even in the summer. Okay, so that's pretty telling in of itself. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the. We're going to see if we can go ahead and stop the screen, and we're going to go to share, and I'm going to go to share a screen, and I'm going to share a different screen here. So let's see here.
Love you.
Love you too, baby. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. So again, I, for one, have been abused. I know that to this day, I still flinch if it looks like somebody is throwing something at me. That was one of the biggest ones. It took me years to finally let my husband brush my hair. My fear was that strong. I had to go through extensive therapy in order to understand why I felt the way I did about certain things. So from this one, it says domestic violence is a common problem in the U.S. every year. More than 10 million people are subjected to domestic violence in the nation. That's quite a bit of people. So it shows that 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 children are victims of domestic abuse, which is crazy because I'm sitting here going, I know at least 4 women and none of us have been or are currently, okay, I want to say currently, victims of domestic abuse. I'm not saying that it's never happened or we've never been through sexual abuse or other things. So it's been a growing problem. And we know this. So, and I'm not against domestic abuse survivors. So what does domestic abuse look like? So domestic abuse is not always about physical violence. You can't expect the victim to always come up with some bruises and cuts because they are too obvious. Domestic violence is a deep-rooted psychological issue in the abuser's mind. It's about controlling the person beneath you. If you see someone getting manipulated or controlled by a particular person in different spectrums of life, rest assured the person is being abused. Women and children are mostly victims of domestic abuse. You can see how these people are afraid of the male figure in their house and ask for permission to go out, even for the slightest issues. Usually controlling money. There's a lot of things. So these people don't usually have money on them. They don't have any credit cards for their emergencies, and they have to be accountable for every penny they spend. Hey, my husband and I are like that too, but to be fair, I'm on an Amazon ban. So sorry, Amazon. Okay, so their partners keep on calling and texting them to keep a track of where they are, and they don't even have access to a vehicle for commuting purposes, which is amazing because none of these things seem to have been what was going on with Amber Heard. And some of those things weren't necessarily going on with Johnny Depp, except for there was that persistent calling and texting to keep track of where they are, who they're with. What are you doing? Why can't you love me? I mean, it was over the top. Okay. So physical signs of domestic abuse. So according to DC domestic violence officials, if someone is being physically abused, they will have signs of physical injuries on their bodies. So the signs should be consistent with being punched, choked, and knocked down. You'll even see these persons have little recollection or unbelievable explanations of what happened to them. And let's see here. Yet you'll even see these persons have little recollection or unbelievable explanations of what happened to them and how they got the bruises. So bruises on the arms, black eyes, sprained wrists. So we kind of went through some of those. Okay. One of the signs of domestic abuse that I had when I was younger was I had a fist mark in my stomach when I was taken by CPS at a very young age. So that's pretty crazy. I've never actually looked at those records. I really don't want to. I really don't want to relive any of those traumatic experiences. So let's see here. So the victims of domestic abuse also try to cover them up. So kind of, I used to be a cutter, so I used to wear long sleeves and stuff like that because I would try to cover up stuff like that. This year, people also tend to wear heavier makeup or wear sunglasses to hide their black eyes. If you see these victims are protecting their abusers, that's wrong. They are simply too afraid of them to take any action against them. So, emotional signs of domestic abuse. Domestic abuse is not always physical. It can also take an emotional toll on people and lead them to live a helpless, miserable, and fearful life. You may see them spending their days in a constant state of alertness to the point where they can never completely relax. It is because they believe they'll never get out of the abuser's control, which leads them to express signs of constant despair. Changes in sleep habits, agitation, anxiety, low self-esteem, being afraid, depression, developing substance abuse problems, talking about attempting suicide, being too apologetic, and loss of interest in daily chores are some obvious emotional signs of domestic violence. So that's very interesting to think about because during the 7-week trial, Johnny Depp, he exhibited low self-esteem. He wouldn't even look at her at all, which is quite consistent. You do not want to look at your abuser. Depression, substance abuse problems. So he was addicted to, I think it was, I don't want to say it was OxyContin, but I'll have to look up which one it was again. But it was, he had hurt his back during on set during one of the Pirates movies, and he used that, of course, for pain measures. But it was an addiction. But again, substance abuse problems, drinking a lot more, taking other drugs. But for the most part, it seemed like he was pretty much just like, I just like to smoke weed. Talking about attempting suicide, being too apologetic. So it looks like there was a lot of apologies made, even if he didn't actually do anything. And that's usually seen as a way to appease the narcissist or appease the abuser. Loss of interest in daily chores or just everyday life. So depression is a bitch. I have depression and anxiety, and I can tell you that more than half the days I do not feel like doing anything. I spend a lot of time on my phone. Don't get me wrong, I have children, so I spend a lot of time with them too, but I'm more comfortable at home doing these things, even though sometimes it's still a lot to handle. But I also am a lot better at recognizing things that are my own triggers and stuff like that. So what to do if you're abused? So people who are victims of domestic abuse tend to think that it's their fault that their husbands or fathers don't love them. I really, really hate that we just talk about this as a man thing because there's a lot of really cruel women out there. However, you should snap out of this mindset right now and believe it is not your fault. It's probably easier said than done. Which is why, you would suggest calling 911 if it's an emergency situation. Get the fuck out. Let's see here. So I really want to show. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to go to images. Let's see if I can go to sharing these images here. I'm going to go back to share screen again. And We're going to go ahead and hit share on that. Alrighty, so this is really sad. Hey, look, there's actual black eye and bruising. This is really sad. It's really sad. So interesting enough, when we adopted my nephew, my son James, his mother, they had pictures of her back that had lashes on her back, and she kept trying to say that, well, they were just having sex, and I wanted to cry because that's not what sex looks like. It's not what love looks like. Somebody doesn't beat you on your back, leaving scars and but it's like she didn't even know. She had no idea. It didn't matter what anybody told her. Very, very sad. You can't stand domestic abuse pictures of children either. It just brings back terrible. Trying to see if there's just no amount of makeup that could cover up stuff like this right here. Or if we can look at this up. Amber picture. Okay, so we're gonna look this up. So this is her, which the insane thing is, right? So they had this picture of her, right? This was the day that she went for her that's her evidence that he beat her. Which I find interesting because Johnny Depp is right-handed, which means that if he were to throw a punch at her, I would they should have been on this side of her face, not this side. But that's just another inconsistency in her story. Let's just kind of take a look at some of these here. I don't know who that is. Oh, hey, what do you know? Okay, women doing stupid shit. So let me see if I can get back here. So again, these her supposed abuse. I'm sorry, I just don't find that believable. So let me go here because I want to show. I mean, she had him. First off, this was posted very, very fast after the fact. Her supposed abuse. I'm so confused. Where is she abused? Please tell me. I don't see. Maybe a little darkness here, like she couldn't get sleep from all of her lies. I mean, I'm not sure here. But anyway, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you. So Amber Heard may 27th, 2016, and May 28th, 2016. So let's see these photos, right? So so we had these photos where it looks really bad. We already know that she, her or her publicist or whatever, they warned TMZ so that way that TMZ could get a shot, right, of her face. And this is the very next day, right after she filed for domestic violence. Where the fuck is the bruise? It does not look like she is wearing makeup. Oh God. Okay. This is why it's really, really hard to believe her. Let's see here. Let's see if we can have one from May 22nd, 2016, because that was the day after this alleged abuse. And I just want to know. Oh, hey, look at that. She put up an Instagram photo the very next day. But hey, look at that. There does not look like there is abuse on her face. Alrighty. Well, I think that maybe that's Amber Heard. I could be wrong on that one. No, that was a photo by Amber Heard on May 25th, 2016, which was 2 days prior to her filing for the domestic violence restraining order, or the TRO. Let's see here.
Go outside. We're in the kitchen.
Okay, so I want to go through because I want to, and this is what I find exceptionally interesting about this. This may take me days to get through, guys, so bear with me. I have to be able to do this and go back and forth between my children, which is very hard sometimes. I wanted to get oh, here we go. So this is going to be the Fairfax County, Virginia. And what we want is we want the high profile case. And we want the documents from this case. Okay, so let's look here. So that was as of May 31st, 2022. But I want to go all the way back here, okay? So from March 1st, 2019. So let's go ahead and take a look at this document here. So let's see here. Looks like judgment amount, $50 million. Filing fee was $246 in cash. Certified copies for defamation. Final disposition. Let's see here. Alrighty. So parties. So the plaintiff is Johnny Depp II, and the defendant is Amber Laura Heard. Which I think is funny that Elaine Bredehoft completely fucking missed how to say her name. All right. So the plaintiff's attorney was Benjamin G. Chu. Love you, Mr. Chu. You are busy. So cases in the civil tracking program, defamation is the only thing that's checked there. Damages in the amount of $50 million and punitives are claimed. Okay. So here we go. So the complaint. Okay. So plaintiff John C. Depp II, aka Johnny Depp, in support of his complaint against defendant Amber Laura Heard, hereby states the following nature of the action. This defamation action arises from an op-ed republished in the Washington Post by actress Amber Heard. Ms. Heard, in the op-ed, Ms. Heard purported to write from the perspective of a public figure representing domestic abuse and claimed that she felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out when she spoke up against sexual violence. Don't get me wrong. Do I believe some of that is true? Yes. But who else the fuck was she married to? So that's my other question. So everybody would have automatically, I believe, thought that it was Johnny Depp. So although she never identified him by name, the op-ed plainly was about, and other media consistently characterized it as being about Miss Heard's purported victimization after she publicly accused her former husband, Johnny Depp, Mr. Depp, of domestic abuse in 2016 when she appeared in court with an apparently battered face and obtained a temporary restraining order against Mr. Depp on May 27th, 2016. Again, that's what I was showing you with those pictures. It was the bruise, which amazingly enough was on the right side of her face, which you have to wonder because Johnny Depp is right-handed and he has a lot of rings that if he would have punched her in the face, I don't know how else to make that clear, but there would have been more bruising than just that little bump for number one. But I think she said that he threw a phone at her face. The whole thing is insane. Okay, so an owl that kind of hurt. I'm probably going to give myself a black eye. Jesus Christ. Okay, so although she never identified him by name, everybody kind of, basically, the op-ed plainly was about, and other media consistently characterized it as being about Miss Heard's purported victimization after she publicly accused her former husband, Johnny Depp, Mr. Depp, of domestic abuse in 2016 when she appeared in court with an apparently battered face and obtained a temporary restraining order, which is what TRO stands for, against Mr. Depp on May 27, 2016. The op-ed depended on the central premise that Miss Heard was a domestic abuse victim and that Mr. Depp perpetrated domestic violence against her. The op-ed's clear implication that Mr. Depp is a domestic abuser is categorically and demonstrably false. Mr. Depp never abused Miss Heard. Her allegations against him were false when they were made in 2016. They were part of an elaborate hoax to generate positive publicity for Miss Heard and advance her career, i.e. Aquaman. Miss Heard's false allegations against Mr. Depp have been conclusively refuted by two separate responding police officers, a litany of neutral third-party witnesses, and 87 newly obtained surveillance camera videos, with a prior arrest for violent domestic abuse and having confessed under oath to a series of violent attacks on Mr. Depp. And that's talking to the Tasha Van Ray situation where she had been arrested for domestic abuse for hitting her prior partner in an airport in Washington, I believe it was. So, and let's see here. Miss Heard is not a victim of domestic abuse. She is a perpetrator. Miss Heard violently abused Mr. Depp just as she was caught and arrested for violently abusing her former domestic partner. Miss Heard's implication in her op-ed that Mr. Depp is a domestic abuser is not only demonstrably false, it is defamatory per se. Miss Heard falsely implied that Mr. Depp was guilty of domestic violence, which is a crime involving moral turpitude. Moreover, Miss Heard's false implication prejudiced Mr. Depp in his career as a film actor and incalculably and immediately damaged his reputation as a public figure. Unsurprisingly, Mr. Depp's reputation and career were devastated when Miss Heard first accused him of domestic violence on May 27, 2016. Miss Heard's hoax allegations were timed to coincide with the day that Mr. Depp's film, Alice Through the Looking Glass, was released in theaters. Her op-ed, with its false implication that she was a victim of domestic violence at the hands of Mr. Depp, brought new damage to Mr. Depp's reputation and career. Mr. Depp lost movie roles and faced public scorn. Miss Heard, an actress herself, knew precisely the effect that her op-ed would have on Mr. Depp. And indeed, just 4 days after Miss Heard's op-ed was first published on December 18, 2018, Disney announced on December 22, 2018, that it was dropping Mr. Depp from his leading role as Captain Jack Sparrow, a role that he created and hit the multi-billion-dollar earning Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. So Miss Heard published her op-ed with actual malice. She knew that Mr. Depp did not abuse her and that domestic abuse allegations that she made against him in 2016 were false. She knew that the testimony and photographic evidence that she presented to the court and the supporting sworn testimony provided by her two friends were false and perjurious. Miss Heard knew that the truth was that she violently abused Mr. Depp, just as she violently abused her prior domestic partner, which led to her arrest and booking for domestic violence, as well as a night in jail and a mugshot. Miss Heard revived her false allegations against Mr. Depp in the op-ed and to generate positive publicity for herself and to promote her new movie, Aquaman, which premiered across the United States and in Virginia only 3 days after the op-ed was first published. Gee, great timing, Miss Heard. Mr. Depp brings this defamation action to clear his name. By this civil lawsuit, Mr. Depp seeks to restore his reputation and establish Ms. Heard's legal liability for continuing her campaign to push a false narrative that he committed domestic violence against her. Mr. Depp seeks an awarding of compensatory damages for the reputational harm that he suffered as a result of Ms. Heard's op-ed with its false and defamatory implication that Mr. Depp was a domestic abuser. Further, given the willfulness and maliciousness that Ms. Heard demonstrated when she knowingly published the op-ed with the false implication that Mr. Depp violently abused her, Mr. Depp also seeks an award of punitive damages, which punitive damages, punishment damages, go fuck yourself damages, that kind of thing. Alrighty, so plaintiff John C. Depp is an individual and a resident of the state of California. For decades, he has been one of the most prominent actors in Hollywood. Mr. Depp was married to Ms. Heard for approximately 15 months. 15 months for a woman to destroy your fucking life. Between February 1st, 2015 and May 23rd, 2016. They had no children together. Thank fucking God. Mr. Depp was the target of Ms. Heard's false and defamatory op-ed in the Washington Post. Defendant Amber Laura Heard is an individual and a resident of the state of California. Ms. Heard is an actress and Mr. Depp's former wife. Ms. Heard authored and published the defamatory op-ed in the Washington Post that falsely implied that Mr. Depp abused her during their marriage. So let's see here. So how this ended up in Virginia, this is where we come in here. So jurisdiction and venue. This court has specific personal jurisdiction over defendant under Virginia's long arm statute, Virginia Code 8.01 320-328.1, as well as under the Due Process Clause of the U.S. Constitution. Did you put away the other game? Where is it at?
It's in the cupboard.
It's in the box again? Okay, then yes, you may play with this. Okay? It's the same one we had before. Do not miss my pieces, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty, sorry guys. So let's see here. So again, Virginia's long arm statute, as well as under the Due Process Clause of the U.S. Constitution, because among other things, the causes of action in this complaint arise from defendant transacting business in this Commonwealth and causing tortious injury by an act or omission in this Commonwealth. Moreover, exercising jurisdiction would not offend traditional notions of fair play and substantial justice, because defendant could have, indeed should have, reasonably foreseen being hailed into a Virginia court to account for her false and defamatory op-ed, which was published in a newspaper that is printed in Springfield, Virginia, in an online edition of the newspaper that is created on a digital platform in Virginia and routed through servers in Virginia, in a newspaper that has wide circulation in Virginia and even publishes a Virginia local edition in which the false and defamatory op-ed appeared, and in a newspaper that maintains 2 physical offices in Virginia. Further, defendant published the false and defamatory op-ed to promote her new movie, which was in Virginia theaters for viewing by Virginia audiences, which venue is proper in this circuit under VA Code 8.01 to 262 because the causes of action asserted herein arose in this circuit. So that's how they got to Virginia, the long arm statute. So basically, the op-ed, the Washington Post was in Virginia. Okay. So Ms. Heard wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post that implies that she was a victim of domestic abuse at the hands of Mr. Depp. Mr. Depp has appeared in more than 50 films over the last 3 decades. He has worldwide name recognition and has played a diverse array of iconic roles, including Edward Scissorhands, Willy Wonka, Captain Jack Sparrow, the Mad Hatter, Grindelwald, John Dillinger, and Whitey Bulger. I'm not sure who the hell, which character was that? Anybody want to let me know? Okay, so his movies have grossed over $10 billion in the United States and around the world. He has won the People's Choice Award 14 times. There you go.
It was supposed to be that way.
Okay, so that's pretty big. Mr. Depp married Miss Heard on February 1st, 2015. The two met when Miss Heard was cast in Mr. Depp's film The Rum Diary. The marriage lasted only 15 months. Unbeknownst to Mr. Depp, no later than 1 month after his marriage to Miss Heard, she was spending time in a new relationship with Tesla and SpaceX founder Elon Musk. Only 1 calendar month after Mr. Depp and Miss Heard were married. Oh man, I hadn't read this part. So while Mr. Depp was out of the country filming in March 2015, Eastern Columbia building personnel testified that Miss Heard received Musk late at night at Mr. Depp's penthouse. Specifically, Ms. Heard asked staff at the Eastern Columbia building to give her friend Elon access to the building's parking garage and the penthouse elevator late at night, and they testified that they did so. Building staff would then see Ms. Heard's friend Elon leaving the building the next morning. Musk's first appearance in Mr. Depp's penthouse occurred shortly after Ms. Heard threw a vodka. Musk's first appearance in Mr. Depp's penthouse occurred shortly after Miss Heard threw a vodka bottle at Mr. Depp in Australia, when she learned that Mr. Depp wanted the couple to enter into a post-nuptial agreement concerning assets in their marriage. Miss Heard's violently aimed projectile virtually severed Mr. Depp's middle finger on his right hand and shattered the bones. Holy shit. So I didn't actually read that through before. This is the first time I've actually opened this document, but I knew from the court proceedings. So they had the video of James Franco going up to the penthouse the night after she allegedly got so it wasn't after her birthday, but it was the night after he allegedly had abused her again, and which come to find out Johnny Depp was ending their marriage, and she became a cunt and decided to try and ruin his life from there. So let's see here. Oh, Elon Musk, fuck you, man. You knew she was married. She knew she was married. What the fuck is wrong with you two? Sickening. Okay, let's see here. So basically she didn't want to sign a post-nuptial agreement, nor did she want anything to do with the prenuptial agreement. So instead, what did she do? She fucking shatters her husband's finger. Good job. There's audio of that too, if you guys really want to hear it, which I'm sure I'll be able to pull up here later. So Mr. Depp's marriage to Miss Heard came to an end in May 2016 after Mr. Depp indicated to Miss Heard that he wanted to leave the marriage. Miss Heard lured Mr. Depp to his penthouse to pick up his personal items. Unaware that members of Mr. Depp's security team, including an 18-year veteran of Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, were mere feet away, Miss Heard falsely began yelling, "Stop hitting me, Johnny." The interaction culminated with Miss Heard making false allegations that Mr. Depp struck her with a cell phone, hit her, and destroyed the penthouse. There were multiple eyewitnesses to this hoax. Miss Heard's friend then called the police, who arrived promptly. Upon their arrival, Miss Heard refused to cooperate with the police or make any claims that she had been injured or assaulted, and 2 domestic abuse trained police officers testified that after close inspection of Miss Heard in the penthouses, they observed no injury to Miss Heard or damage to the penthouses. But then 6 days later, Miss Heard presented herself to the world with a battered face as she publicly and falsely accused Mr. Depp of domestic violence and obtained a restraining order against him based on false testimony that she and her friends provided. A sick fucking woman, if you ask me. She knew. In fact, I think there is part of what she had told her lawyers, or not her lawyers, her therapist, right? Her question was, well, how do I get out ahead of this? Well, there are some that will tell her, well, you need to make up some fucking bullshit. Such as a temporary restraining order or something along the line. She got very good at lying to those around her until all of this came to light, which I'm so glad that all of this came to light, because we need to see that women are capable of this. Okay, so Again, they had the false testimony that she and her friends provided. So now there are newly obtained surveillance camera videos, depositions, and other evidence that conclusively disprove Miss Heard's false allegations. Although much of this exculpatory evidence was collected by certain members Mr. Depp's then legal team in 2016, it only recently came into Mr. Depp's possession as it had been hidden from him for a period of years. Huh. Damn. Okay, so Miss Heard later withdrew her false domestic violence allegations and dismissed the restraining order. Of course she did. And then she also wanted to get back together with him after she put together this fucking restraining order. So she and Mr. Depp finalized their divorce in January 2017. So despite dismissing so that's funny. So my husband and I, we got married on January 10th of 2015. So just slightly about 21 days before her and Johnny Depp got married. My husband and I have now been together. Well, we have been married for 7 years this year, and we will have been together for 9 years here on the 17th of June. Yay. And I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. Okay, so, and they were divorced not, 15 months after their fucking marriage. Fantastic. So despite dismissing the restraining order and withdrawing the domestic abuse allegations, Ms. Heard and her circuits have continuously and repeatedly referred to her in publications, public service announcements, social media postings, speeches, and interviews as a victim of domestic violence and a survivor, always with the clear implication that Mr. Depp was her supposed abuser. Most recently, in December 2018, Ms. Heard published an op-ed in the Washington Post that falsely implied that Ms. Heard was a victim of domestic violence at the hands of Mr. Depp. The op-ed was first published on the Washington Post website on December 18, 2018, with title, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. This has to change. The op-ed appeared again on December 19, 2018, in the Washington Post hard copy edition under the title, A Transformative Moment for Women. Except for their titles, the online and hard copy versions of the op-ed were substantially identical and are referred to collectively herein as the sexual violence op-ed. The sexual violence op-ed central thesis was that Ms. Heard was a victim of domestic violence and faced personal and professional repercussions because she spoke up against sexual violence by a powerful man. Although, let's see here. Although Mr. Depp was never identified by name in the sexual violence op-ed, Ms. Heard makes clear, based on the foundations of the false accusations that she made against Mr. Depp in court filings and subsequently reiterated in the press for years, that she was talking about Mr. Depp and the domestic abuse allegations that she made against him in May 2016. Ms. Heard wrote, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. Then, 2 years ago, the precise time frame of her allegations against divorce from Mr. Depp, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. I had the rare vantage point of seeing in real time how institutions protect men accused of abuse. Don't get me wrong. Do I think that's absolutely true for the most part? Oh, absolutely. But in this particular case, Amber Heard, you are a lying fucking cunt, and no, the First Amendment does not allow you to defame somebody that is not protected under the First Amendment. Just wanted to put that out there. All right. So I write this as a woman who had to change my phone number weekly because I was getting death threats. For months, I rarely left my apartment, and when I did, I was pursued by camera, drones, and photographers on foot, on motorcycles, and in cars. Tabloid outlets that posted pictures of me spun them in a negative light. I felt as though I was on trial in the court of public opinion, and my life and livelihood depended on myriad judgments far beyond my control. Yeah, I wonder how Johnny Depp felt. Okay. So as these statements reflect, the whole op-ed proceeds from the notion presented as an unassailable truth that Ms. Heard was the victim of domestic violence at the hands of Mr. Depp. She was not. Ms. Heard is not a victim of domestic violence, and Mr. Depp is not a perpetrator of domestic violence. And the centerpiece of Ms. Heard's attention-seeking hoax, her claim that Mr. Depp savagely injured her face by throwing her own iPhone at her from point-blank range as hard as he could, and then continued to beat her face with other appendages of his body on the evening of May 21st, 2016, which caused her to have the battered face and that she first presented to the court and the world on May 27, 2016, was a poorly executed lie that nevertheless had endured for nearly 3 years. The statements in her sexual violence op-ed that imply otherwise are false and defamatory. So I like that. So let's talk about that for a second, okay? So I showed you pictures, right? Okay, so let's go back to that picture again because this is fucking great. Where did I put that? Right, because she posed beautifully for the camera. Maybe that one's just a little bit better there. Okay, so there's that bruise. That's how she showed up. That's her battered face. Okay, so again, so it says, so in the centerpiece of Ms. Heard's attention-seeking hoax, her claim that Mr. Depp savagely injured her face by throwing her own iPhone at her from point-blank range as hard as he could, and then continued to beat her face with other appendages of his body on the evening of May 21st, 2016, which caused her to have the battered face that she presented to the court. Does this look like a battered face? Does this look like he threw a phone at her face? Does this look like he was beating her face with other appendages of his body? I am fucking confused because, quite frankly, it looks like she could have fucking hit herself. No offense to actually abuse people. Anyway. So, Ms. Heard was not a victim of domestic violence. She was a perpetrator. Long before Ms. Heard became a self-described public figure representing domestic abuse based on her false domestic violence allegations against Mr. Depp, Ms. Heard was in an abusive relationship. But Ms. Heard was not the victim in that relationship. She was the abuser. Okay, so I need to take a drink. Hold on, sorry guys. Party cups. Oh, water. Okay. So on September 14th, 2009, police officers at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport witnessed Ms. Heard physically assault her then domestic partner, Tasha Van Rey. Ms. Heard grabbed Ms. Van Rey Tasha Van Rey, I want to say. Ms. Heard grabbed Ms. Van Rey by the arm, hit Ms. Van Rey in the arm, and yanked Ms. Van Rey's necklace off her neck. Ms. Heard was arrested. She was booked for misdemeanor domestic violence. A mugshot was taken of her, and she spent the night in jail. The following day, the Seattle-based prosecutor declined to press charges against Ms. Heard, but only because both she and her domestic abuse victim were California residents who were merely passing through Washington state. Since casting herself as a domestic abuse victim, Ms. Heard has attempted to blame misogyny and homophobia for her domestic violence arrest, claiming that she was arrested on a trumped-up charge because she was in a same-sex relationship. You were in fucking Washington, ma'am, and Washington is not exactly, especially Seattle, is not against same-sex marriages, for Christ's sakes. Shut the fuck. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Here, let's go do this for a second. So what is misogyny? Okay, so misogyny definition. I'm curious because apparently all of us women are now misogynists, which I find funny. So, dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. That is the definition of misogyny. Okay. And it does exist. Do not get me wrong. But this is not it. So another one that they put over here is that misogyny is a hatred of contempt for or prejudice against women. It is a form of sexism that keeps women at a lower social status than men, thus maintaining the societal roles of patriarchy. Hey, like Roe versus Wade. Let's talk about that for a second. Why do men get to make fucking laws regarding my fucking body? I had 4 kids. My last one almost fucking killed both of us. And if I would have accidentally gotten pregnant again, because accidents fucking happen, as I got pregnant on the IUD with my last child, if I would have gotten pregnant again, I probably wouldn't have gotten abortion because I wouldn't want to be dead mom. Okay? So men can go fuck themselves, but in the case of Amber Heard, you can go fuck yourself. There is no in between here. Okay. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Alrighty. So let's see here. So since casting herself, oh, okay. So we're going on number 27, right? So Miss Heard's violent domestic abuse did not end when her relationship with Miss Van Ree ended. Miss Heard committed multiple acts of domestic violence against Mr. Depp during their marriage. Miss Heard's physical abuse of Mr. Depp is documented by eyewitnesses' accounts, photographs, and even Miss Heard's own admissions under oath. In one particularly gruesome episode that occurred only 1 month into their marriage, Miss Heard shattered the bones in the tip of Mr. Depp's right middle finger, almost completely cutting it off. Miss Heard threw a glass vodka bottle at Mr. Depp, one of many projectiles that she launched at him in this and other instances. The bottle shattered as it came into contact with Mr. Depp's hand, and the broken glass and impact severed and shattered Mr. Depp's finger. Mr. Depp's finger had to be surgically reattached. Miss Heard then disseminated false accounts of this incident, casting Mr. Depp as the perpetrator of his own injury. Miss Heard's domestic abuse of Mr. Depp continued unabated through their 15-month marriage. Miss Heard threw dangerous objects at Mr. Depp and also kicked and punched him with regularity. Okay, so I think I want to stop here at number 30. I need to take a break, guys. I will be back. Don't mind me. Thank you for listening. I know this is very long, but I also feel that it's kind of important to read over this stuff because I think that we need to know what real domestic abuse looks like. What is very damaging, and lying is exceptionally damaging. I know that I tell my kids all the time, look, there are consequences to your choices, whether they be good consequences or bad consequences. Unfortunately for Ms. Heard, or fortunately, probably more fortunate for Mr. Depp, the consequences of her actions, they hurt. I'm sure she's very brokenhearted and hurt over this. But the only person that she has to blame is herself. So, because the rest of the world can make, their own fucking opinions about what they feel with the evidence that is presented to them. So like I said, I'm just kind of backtracking, going over this trial right now. I did not get a chance to do this because it took me a while to actually figure out how to do this because I am not super electronically, I don't know how to say it, but I am smarter than a whip in most aspects of anything, and then you put me in front of a computer, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So right now I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this for just a moment, guys. I'm back to the screen here. So I love you all. I'm going to go ahead and end this broadcast for now, and hopefully we will be able to catch up more here in a little while. I just need to take a break for a little bit. I need to check on the kids, make sure that they are not swinging from the ceiling fans. Just kidding. Not really. They would. One day they were on my roof. I felt like my own kid would get TPS calling me for their own dumb fucking actions. I love my kids to death. Love them to death. But anyway, guys, this will be a multi-part series, I'm sure. The tale of the 2 trials, because this is big right now. I know people are like, oh, but it's just a bunch of celebrities. Well, they're still people. So just remember that. There is a reason why this trial was aired, and there's a reason why the other trial, I want to say it was the Jeffrey Epstein and the whatever her damn name is. It was a federal trial. It was not aired. We can go into that into detail if you guys would like, as to why that was not televised versus why this particular case was televised, because I know that there seems to be a lot of confusion there, and I want to be able to set that straight, is so you guys are at least educated on the topic and why certain things are done and why certain things are not done, obviously. So anyway, have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, and looks like early evening. It's 3:40 in the afternoon. I don't remember when I started this, but I love being able to talk to people and be able to go over things that I find really important, really cool. My goal with my channel will be to really go into the Constitution and some of the works of like Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, that kind of stuff. I really love history. I love the Constitution. I want to be able to explain that and how that, remember that not all rights are absolute. Even in the Constitution, our rights are not absolute. But this court case, and the reason why I wanted to go over this one as well, besides men too, and that abuse knows no gender. The other reason I wanted to go into this case was because it does bring up the First Amendment, and Amber Heard was adamant that she has that First Amendment right to say whatever she wants to say, and to a point she is correct, but there's we will play the video of Camille Vasquez as she tears apart this narrative. So I think it's very important. We will probably pull up the Constitution as we go along. If you guys want to hear more or learn more, please, like this channel and share and pass it along. I would love to get questions. I don't think I got any questions on this one. So I know this is going to take a long while to build up, but I'm so excited to be here and doing this. So thank you guys, and have a great day.